All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SEO UnMasked, episode number 78. Today is November 14th, 2019. Thanks for tuning in over the lunch hour. I'm Garrett Groff. All right. Hello, everyone.
I'm Steve
SEO
Brownlee.
UnMasked, episode number 78. Today is November.
I'm excited to be.
This is the first show we've been together in like 2 months, all of us.
Yeah, it's been a rough old summer and autumn. It's been crazy.
Yeah, man, I am run down. It is no joke. I just want to sleep for like a week.
Yeah, that would be nice.
What's going on with you guys?
Moving house in 2 weeks finally.
Oh yeah, it's all done.
Yeah, all the legal stuff's done. Just a bunch of workmen finishing a few bits, and then should be ready to move in 2 weeks on Saturday.
Nice, man. Congrats. That's exciting.
It's bankrupted me.
Yeah. I remember when I did it, I was tight for a good 6 months after dropping that down payment.
I think I'll be okay for when I retire. I'll sell the house.
So that house is your retirement plan. I know a lot of people that do that, and it doesn't make sense to me.
A little risky.
Well, you don't need to live in a family house when you're like 75 and it's just you and your wife too. Then.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're not going to want to clean that whole house when it's just two of you there, like, and you're old.
Yeah, they say you only need like 70 or 80% of your income during retirement, so a little less pressure there. What's that?
I want 150%. I'm gonna spend like a motherfucker.
There you go.
Yeah, I want to be playing high stakes Omaha against tourists in the Dutch Caribbean. I don't want to be messing around with 70%. That's an expensive game. $2,000.
You're gonna be like buying presents for kids that you don't even know.
Probably.
Here, just have a present. Anyway, so it looks like we're all going to Traffic Think Tank this year. Do you guys get your tickets?
Not yet, but as soon as I figure out the travel arrangements, I will do. I'm torn between like 3 completely different options with different airlines and different ways of paying. So once I decide, I've been sick this week, so I meant to do it on Tuesday, but I spent all day in bed instead, except for a few hours in the evening. So
yeah, I just wanted to get it over with, and I knew I waited too long last time to buy my tickets in my hotel, so I wanted to try to get the best price. So I'm all booked.
I'll probably be booked today, to be honest. I'm just going to make a decision and go for it.
A little trip to Miami in May is going to be a sweet time, man.
Yeah.
Seems like not too bad an idea. What time do you guys head out on Sunday?
I'm not leaving Sunday.
I think like midday. So I'm at the airport by like 10 in the morning.
I think I'm leaving on Tuesday. I'm getting there Friday morning and leaving Tuesday.
Oh, you're staying an extra couple of days.
I used my my British Airways Avios to book on American. That's just when the availability was.
Ah, fair enough.
So, whatever, I guess. Yeah, I was showing you. I'm not a.
I might have a look at Monday then, because 6 a.m. on Sunday morning is when the availability to Philadelphia was.
Yeah, that sucks.
I'm not very confident in the plane I'm flying in. I think I showed Steve. It looked a little old.
But they're flying him in a regional jet all the way from Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I consider that to be a little bit more than a short regional hop, but
yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's first class, so it can't be terrible, but it doesn't look great either.
Yeah, I got Delta first class again. It's only a 2.5 hour ride for me, so it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's 2.5 hours up to Philly, so I guess it's right next to you virtually, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah. So, what's up with your webinar? Are you doing the webinar Traffic Tank?
Yeah. I have it on the show notes on YouTube, but not on our little thing. Let me see here. December 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you guys aren't part of Traffic Think Tank, probably get on board and going to be giving some tips on running a link building agency. I'm not going to give away all the secrets, but I think it'll help out people quite a bit. And I guess someone had asked me, I'm not going to be talking about link building itself. I mean, if someone has some questions, that'll be fine, but the intent isn't link building strategy per se, so.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the news here. I'm guessing this first one is Steve for nightmare ruling for affiliates. Was that you, buddy?
That was one that I had found. Over in the UK, the ASA, the Advertising Standards Authority, or whatever the hell it is. Now I can't remember the name of this.
Same as your FTC.
Okay.
But smaller.
They fined the hell out of one site, and I can't remember which.
It was the Londoner.
Okay.
Or it was two sites, Madeline and the Londoner. I'm not sure which one got nailed.
Yeah, well, they both did. And when I read this, I thought, like, it's a bit unfair on Matalan. Like, the Londoners should have affiliate disclaimers in all their posts, like good affiliates do. Like, this post may contain that, like all the travel bloggers do. And
yeah.
Like, it's really hard for a brand who signs up to an affiliate network that allows hundreds and thousands of affiliates to sign up. Like, they're supposed to have a team checking every single link that they get in the affiliate program. I mean, some of the programs do that for the brands, and they'll deactivate affiliates that aren't following the rules, but like, it seems like a massive undertaking. I think it would be fine to say to the Londoner, you're putting affiliate links and stuff without disclosing it. But I think it's really harsh that Matalan got caught up in the fine, because I don't think they did anything. I don't think there's anything they can feasibly do. I mean, they're a pretty big store, but then their digital marketing department, I'd be amazed if they have 10 people or something.
I was confused if they wanted a disclaimer next, like literally next to every link in content. Like, was that what they're looking for?
That's what's unclear in the ruling, and the article that sort of says, is that what they're implying? They want this ad next to everything. I mean, it seems a bit weird. Yeah, no one does that. So if that's the rule, it's going to be a big problem.
Well, I know maybe a month ago now, Amazon had sent out a warning to all of their affiliates that they now are going to require them to have the disclaimer clearly visible on every page that there's Amazon links. So,
and not just that, they want the disclaimer right next to the link.
Amazon does?
Yeah, and there was some talk about it, and it seems more like Amazon doesn't really give a fuck. They're just covering their ass so that they can't get in trouble.
A couple of years back, I was in several professional services niches, and that was already a big deal with them. Like, they were policing that heavily. The affiliate network was not, or the affiliate offer was not the FTC, and it was super annoying. It was super annoying. On a few sites, we added those like blanket. There's affiliate links in this post on every post, disclaimers, but some of them wanted disclaimers next to each link. Which, if that becomes the rule, that's gonna have optimization issues too. If you have the same disclaimer hundreds of times all of your site, again, it's like the regulatory authorities don't really understand all the nuances to what they're saying, and don't understand the fallout of forcing.
Well, I don't understand really that it makes sense. Like, the end user doesn't understand what it means anyway. Like, it says ad next to the link, right?
Yeah.
So they still can't figure out. Like, look at this case. It wasn't even a piece paid for by Matalan. It was actually paid for by another blogger who paid the Londoner to publish it. So who knows who the end customer was, or what the purpose of this article was, or you know, the trail of the money is going to be, because like the customer's going to think, oh, the Londoner's getting paid for this, whereas in reality some bloggers put their affiliate links in and they're getting paid for it. So the trail of the money is not going to be obvious to the end user anyway. The
Yeah.
motivation for the article is not going to be obvious to the end user. None of the bias is going to be disclosed by this, so it doesn't help in any meaningful way. It's just a really excessive burden on publishers and brands without any real benefit to anyone.
Yeah, it just shows that the government does not understand the internet at all.
Well, you guarantee, I don't want to guess, but I will guess. Like, I mean, the average age of the people on the ASA panel, what do you reckon? Over, under on 60?
Over.
Over, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the world's changed so much since they policed, things that were stuck on the subway. Like it's a whole different world, isn't it? And it's the same people trying to apply the same laws. But it doesn't really help as much when the politicians try to rewrite the laws, because then we get stupid cookie laws and newspapers can charge you for linking to their story. It's like, what? They should be paying you. They should be paying you to link to their story.
Is anybody even talking about GDPR anymore, or is that like?
I don't know.
If you are in a B2C space and you hold meaningful data about people, like Facebook's had a fine, haven't they? And Google's, still arguing with them over whether their entire ad network's compliant. A couple of ad networks, I think we covered one on the show. There was one ad network that collapsed completely because of GDPR, because they just couldn't be compliant. So they just turned off the network.
Did you guys see that Google's going to start offering checking accounts now?
Yeah.
I would totally trust that.
Do they need cash all of a sudden, or what's the deal that they would start doing that?
Yeah, and then one day they just cancel the program and take everybody's money in the checking accounts. We're no
right now
longer
they have to pay. They have to pay the same as Facebook do for their advertising data. Facebook pay MasterCard a fortune for people's spending data, so that they can match that to their ad targeting. It's much cheaper if you have people's current accounts and can see their spending data for free yourself.
Yeah.
Just more datas.
Anyway, let's jump into this next one here. A laser pointer can trick your smart devices into opening your doors and starting your car.
Yeah, so this is just part of my Don't Put Smart Devices in Your Home series, which I've been doing on the show. Until they fix this shit, they're just terrible. I mean, they spy on you. Like, I mean, do you really trust Amazon and Google in your house? Come on, people, what the hell's wrong with you? Like Snowden used to put his phone in the fridge whenever he spoke to anyone.
Yeah.
If someone came round to his house, he used to get them to turn their phone off and put it in the freezer.
But my view of the smart stuff is if you have a smartphone in your house, then you're already exposed. So what's the damage of adding some other convenient smart home items?
Well, only if you have Facebook installed on your phone.
Yeah. Did you see yesterday that on iOS they got caught? If you're using Messenger on iOS, the camera's live in the background of the app, and there was some kind of design flaw where the camera was popping up on the side of the screen for iOS Messenger users. So they figured it out, and of course Facebook said, "Oh, it had nothing to do with privacy issues. They weren't recording anything, and they're gonna fix the issue right away." And it was just a bug.
God, there's some embarrassed politicians that have been doing some of their sexting their interns and stuff. They've just they put the whole thing in video.
God. Anyway.
But yeah, the security in this stuff is just terrible. Like with any new technology, wait till it's good and secure before you start trusting it with your car and your house.
So some little kid can bring a laser pointer over to the house and just walk right in and make himself a sandwich.
Well, yeah, or just open your garage door, jump in your car, and
take it away.
It does. I don't know, man. It just all just seems mad. I mean, I know cars aren't as secure as they used to be because the electronic keys are easily cloned and stuff, but this just seems like a whole other level that people can just walk in the door.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have one of those smart locks, so I'm covered there. All right. AI generated fake content could unleash a virtual arms race. That's a little bit of a sensationalist title there, but
I don't know. This content's pretty good, Vin. I think you should be.
did you see the actual? Oh, the marketing blog does not exist. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's by Fractal. So obviously this is a link building PR piece, for Fractal. But as far as link building efforts go, if this is what you have to do, guys, if you want to do like people that moan at us that we're not getting coverage from like VentureBeat and stuff for their link baits, this is the kind of link bait you have to do if you want VentureBeat to write about. You don't come to me with some top 10 list of top 10 best iPhone apps and then say, why isn't VentureBeat covered in my article? It's because it's not this. They built an entire writing AI bot and made a marketing blog. The articles are pretty. I'm joking. The articles read pretty well. Like your average moron would read them and think they were fine, and maybe they were written by a human, but they're slightly confusing because they don't really seem to stay on topic.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
to contain just very strange, random segues into things that might not be related to the topic.
I've seen a lot of people ask me, are you scared about AI generated content? And I say no, because from what I've seen from the tools that I've dicked around with, it's just like kind of like article spinning 3.0. And yeah, the grammar and the spelling are better than spinning, and the sentences make sense. But like you said, like the topical, the context jumps all over the place because all they're doing is
The problem with it is from a search engine optimization point of view it's what I wrote about on Builder Society a while ago, where Google can't tell the difference between a subject matter expert and not, and it really can't yet. It would just take so much machine power to tell the difference between, say, a Points and Miles blogger that really understands the BA Avios system and one that just uses all the right keywords and discusses in general the BA Avios system.
Yeah, so what's the underlying factor? Links?
Well, I think Google would be able to. Well, I was trying to not say that. I say that in my Builder Society article. But yeah, Garrett and I do links, and they are super important. And if you want non-spun content, then Vin's your man for words. But yeah, I think the problem is Google initially is going to struggle to. I think I can see it ranking. Like after Fractal gets all these high-powered links to it as well, I can see that the marketing blog does not exist. Eventually ranking for some of these random terms that they've put articles up about, because I think unless Google manually intervenes to stop that happening because they don't want to expose a weakness publicly, so I don't think it's going to be able to tell the difference between this and something just written quickly by a real marketing expert in half an hour on their lunch break or between calls, because that's where most agency blogs stuff comes from. They like someone at the agency just spews out a quick article in half an hour and sticks it up on their blog. Like, I don't think Google has the right keywords, it has the right cadence, it's in English, it's written by an AI, Google's an AI. Race of can Google tell the difference? I'm going to vote no, because the last two times they told us they were doing a search query update, that it helped to understand the things we typed into the search box better, and the search results got worse. So I question the success Google's having with their AI experimenting at the minute, because the search results are definitely getting worse every time they tell us they've made an AI revolution and that they understand what we're typing better. So I think there's going to be a period when some extremely spammy SEOs put sites up with 1,000 of these bad boys on and just start pounding them with links, and the affiliate space is going to become even more messy than it is now unless Google can really tell the difference.
yeah.
And even then, I would argue, given the quality of some of the affiliate sites that Garrett looked at on the headphones and things like that space on the show like 6 months ago or whatever, I would question that it probably wouldn't really make that much difference to the end user in terms of the quality they ended up seeing. It's just going to be a garbage site written by a computer instead of a garbage site written by a human. But
do you guys watch Silicon Valley on HBO?
No, I keep meaning to, but
it's just like a comedy that tracks the shenanigans of a startup company. But on the season opener last week, they had one of the guys made an AI bot to speak to all of his employees because he's antisocial and he doesn't want to actually manage his employees. So one of the other employees found out that he was doing this and forced him to make his own AI for the same purpose. But what happened was the two AIs started chatting with each other and getting in fights, and they were like being passive aggressive and turning the electricity off in the building, and like they were like doing ridiculous things. It was pretty
That
funny,
sounds pretty funny.
But I knew I heard about this this blog doesn't exist before because the same people made another site called This Person Does Not Exist, which they linked to in the article.
Oh, that's not, they didn't make that one. I think that was made by someone else. That's just what they used to get the picture for the person on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think they've named their site to kind of as a play on the one that already existed. Yeah.
Yeah, This Person That Does Not Exist.com is awesome because if you want to, you have a
if you want to make up a quick fake persona, yeah.
Yeah, they basically just make a computer generated profile picture for you. I know a few of our clients have been using this for a while. It's pretty freaky how real it looks. But
wow, they got 100. They got 100.
I'll be right back, guys.
They got 150 referring domains. Like they launched it in June, I guess, and within like a week, they had 2 weeks. They had 143 referring domains. Went pretty well for them. Doesn't rank for a whole bunch though. Yeah, it doesn't really seem to rank for very much.
Oh well.
But I think they only put like 5 pages up or something, didn't they? So.
Don't know. What's this awesome self-hosted on GitHub?
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like, so instead of it, I thought, because so many of them are things that people starting internet businesses might need, I just thought I'd include it. So it's like a GitHub maintained list. Well, someone's maintaining it on GitHub, so it's like getting updated all the time. And it just has software in all these different categories that people might generally like buy a SaaS product for, and instead it's suggesting an open source self-hosted tool that you can just use. So there's things like ticket and support tools, all the different hosting platforms, all the different analytics tools, business intelligence, just basically everything that there's a SaaS startup for that you can pay money. There's all these open source tools you can just host yourself. And I thought, like, for a lot of people starting more fancy internet businesses these days, instead of just affiliate sites and stuff, there's loads of cool stuff in here for people to use. Like, I'm thinking we needed a ticket system, so I was like, oh wow, we don't have to pay. What's that one we were looking at that wanted loads of money that we met in Dublin? And we can just like install one of these.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of them.
And then it's ours. We don't have to, like, they put their price up, or they change the product packages, or they break one of their integrations. You don't have to deal with any of that crap. You can just keep the version you installed and choose to install, upgrade, go with a different fork if someone forks it on GitHub. It's pretty cool. And there's tons here. I mean, there's like literally hundreds on there. So it looks like there's like 500 tools here. I mean, it's pretty amazing what the open source community get up to. I mean, I've obviously tried a lot of the like static site generators and all the obvious things that everyone's tried, but there's loads of other cool stuff you didn't even, like all the project management stuff. So yeah, it's just pretty amazing how much stuff is available.
Yeah, for sure. Nice
really
little,
cool.
nice little repo to look at. What do we got left here today? I guess last week I heard some people talking about an algorithm update. In typical fashion, our sites didn't say anything good. Luckily, didn't see anything bad, but it looks like our skincare site today yesterday had a nice spike in traffic, but it's just one day.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, today, I don't know, just based off, it's already 11:30 here. I think yesterday was just a good day, and we have luckily recovered traffic. Not all the traffic we lost in like the second medic update type update, or the June core update, but Be nice if we can get back to where we were and hit the ground running again. I don't know. Have you seen any of these update results on your site, Tim?
So when Bert rolled out, we didn't really lose any rankings, but we lost traffic. So I assume that we have to start going over after more featured snippets and other other featured snippets and all that good stuff. But I've been publishing a massive amount of content, so that kind of is like helping us weather the storm, just because that increases all the long tail traffic we're getting. But if I hadn't been doing that, I probably would have taken a big traffic hit. So after we're done posting all this content, we're just going on a link building spree with you guys and doing some of our own stuff too, because we just gotta build up domain authority, because that really seems like that's the only thing that matters right now.
I think that's what Google means when it says they've improved their AI machine learning. I think they just it means they ignore more content. So I saw there's a guy posting on Builder Society, and the welcome thread, he's like sold a bunch of sites, and he just orders the stuff from, he doesn't say where he orders it from, but like some content agency, and then just like improves it, sticks it up on his site, and gets link building, sells it 18 months later. I think as long as it's decent, you're good to go, right? I mean, I think if you buy stuff from Textbroker, you're probably not setting yourself up for a very good affiliate site.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Some of these.
You're more to the point. You're setting yourself up for, you definitely have to read it and send it back 9 times before you get something you want to publish. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, we haven't really seen much of this update.
No, I was hoping, because that lead gen site we have in the UK in the finance space, not last week, but the week before, I pruned a bunch of content on it. And I was hoping, next time something got refreshed. Like the site was less than 200 pages, about 180 pages, and I think I took 80 or 90 pages off of it. And it doesn't have a ton of links to it, maybe 150 links at the very most. And I was hoping, deleting all this old content from like 2010 that is totally irrelevant, and you'd see a better distribution of page rank, but I haven't seen anything yet, really. The last couple days had a spike in traffic, but again, it's hard to say. I don't know.
Yeah,
wait another.
Pretty much ever since Medic rolled out, we've been in the same kind of like, floor ceiling cycle on our traffic graph between like 100 and 400 visits a day. And I know there's a lot of technical optimizations, internal linking optimizations. I can add schema markup. There's a lot of shit that I can do to improve the site. But at the end of the day, we just have a huge authority gap between where we are now and where we need to go.
Yeah, it's a lot these days. It takes a lot longer than it used to. If you pick, obviously can't outbid his niche, but if you pick a pretty big space, you need a pretty big site to. Sid's an ambitious guy, though. He doesn't mess around with small niches. Like, he's always like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna just completely take over insert niche here," and you're like, "Okay."
I pretty much decided that I'm just this is the only site that I'm going to focus on. I have other sites, but this is like where most of my energy is going to go to. And I'm going to give it like a 5-year time span. At the end of 5 years, if I'm not significantly owning the niche, then maybe I'll just look for a buyer. We'll see.
That'd be all right if you get another nice big cash out. Even if it isn't dominating the niche, it still could be.
You know what it is? It's the first 2 years we just focused on content, and we're just getting to the point where our number of articles and the quality of the content is equal with the biggest competitors. But that pretty much took like all of my time. So now the focus is shifting towards domain authority and link building. And hopefully we start to see improvements much faster.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I mean, but of course you can't do much if you're that far behind on content. You got to close the content gap and the links gap. You can't just do one.
Yeah, So the content gap is closed, and from here on out, we're just going to be publishing an article every month or twice a month just to keep the site fresh. Then the main focus is link building and individual content optimizations. Just if a page is sitting in spots 10 to 15, I'll do a re-optimization with some of these correlational tools. Maybe add some updated information, and hopefully an update
Maybe
like
get
that.
some AI written content up there.
God no. No way, not happening. But yeah, SEO is tough these days, and I could always go the black hat route and start buying some of these, publicly sold links to make it go faster. But the whole idea with this site was to have an asset that I'm going to have for a very long time, and to risk that long-term play for short-term gains is not a smart idea, in my opinion.
No. And even in the short term, it reduces your sales multiple. So if you can get over the line without that, then you can sell for more.
Yeah. But yeah, SEO tough. Google's making it hard on us for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's on purpose. I think they don't know what they're doing at the minute. I mean, if they knew what they would, like if the search results were getting better, you could say, oh, they're getting better search results and they're making it harder for SEOs. I think just the competition in SEOs got harder. Like you're talking about using those correlational tools. Like a complete moron can now get a page that's somewhat optimized with the right words on using those tools.
Yeah.
So now your content needs to be that little bit better if you genuinely want your content to be better than those people. Whereas before, you could probably just put your content up and it was like 8 out of 10 and everyone else is 5 out of 10. But if they can get to 7 out of 10 now with their more authoritative site just by using some tools and brushing up the content a little bit, it kind of just the gap narrows. And then, like you said, there's various black hat link building techniques that Google hasn't got a full handle on yet. Like they do seem to penalize the sites after like 18 months, 24 months, sometimes 6 months if there happens to be an update that hits one of them in particular. But that's still a good period of time when you've got a lot of spammers in the way of you in the SERPs before they disappear, and then new ones are cropping up all the time. And so I just think the competition's more than it used to be. I mean, people are spending more money on it than they ever used to.
Yeah.
Like big brands would spend 3,000 a month on their SEO back when Garrett and I started this. Now it's like just some random small affiliate with one site's like dumping 10,000 in for their first order to get things going. It's like that was some of the biggest companies in the UK were spending that 10 years ago. And you think that's probably true for everyone in the industry. The budgets are higher, people are spending more aggressively. I think that's because there's more money in the game. I think people make more money from Amazon than they ever used to off AdSense. So that money goes into competition.
I've noticed that product, like single product review articles, are getting much more difficult to rank for, product name review. So Apple iPhone review, and you just did a review on just the one iPhone. We have a ton of those on our site, and it's been kind of frustrating just because if you use Ahrefs, you go by the keyword difficulty. So I would say 95% of our money keywords that we're targeting are keyword difficulty 5 or less. So according to them, those are the easiest keywords around. But it's becoming very difficult to rank them because I think it has to do with some kind of. It's the same reason you can't rank for a brand name itself. Any keyword that has a brand name in it is becoming difficult to rank, at least for me. So we're going after more of those roundup reviews, like the listicle style article that reviews many products in one article, and those seem to be responding well. But the individual reviews, again, probably need a lot more domain authority before we start cracking that nut.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that definitely ties up with what I'm seeing just randomly searching around in various niches. You do see a lot of those, and they're really long compared with what people used to do. Like they're not just like 5 quick products. They'll have like 50 products on there.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I just sent you over one of mine in our other chat, but yeah, man. At Word Agents, people order those long, multiple product reviews, like 5,000 words, 10,000 words. They pretty much have the entire industry reviewed in one
On
article.
one page, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely the way to go though, because when you search in the wild, you see a lot of those pages coming up, and they're very, very long. So order 10,000 words from Vin for each category you want. You need at least 100 categories on your site, so that's what, 1 million words or something you need. So
Yeah.
get your orders in.
Well, it'll only be like 80 grand, 100 grand, don't worry. But the reason I feel comfortable with those roundup reviews is because I see big brands starting to do them now. Some of our clients in like the mid-market or enterprise space, they're adding affiliate revenue to their revenue mix, and they're just doing those articles, just the roundup articles.
Mhm.
So if it's working for them, I gotta imagine it's gonna be pretty safe for us for a while.
Yeah, get in the game.
Yep. But was that all the news, or do we have one more?
One more quick, Vin. Come on. Martin Split from Google. I think he heads up the GoogleBot department or part of Chrome or whatever. And,
GoogleBot department.
well, yeah, that's what he does. He's like the lead dev for it. He said the median time for Googlebot to render a page is 5 seconds. But even the 90th percentile is done in minutes. So that's a pretty drastic jump to say that half the sites are, effectively half the sites that Googlebot renders are done in about 5 seconds. But then there's a pretty steep cliff there, going to minutes, or even 1 minute from 5 seconds. That's a pretty big jump, but
some news sites aren't finished rendering by the time you've read the article.
well, right. But he's also quoted as saying, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about week-long delays for rendering after Googlebot crawls your page. Meaning, if it can crawl the page and crawl the code, it might not necessarily care how long it takes to render it.
Do they not still have a crawl budget for your site though? So if you're really slow, then maybe they won't.
Well, that's what it's saying. It doesn't care how it's rendering it. It's just going to go.
Maybe Google just has so much power now they don't need to have crawl budgets for sites. They can just crawl everything without caring anymore.
I think that's true for like a majority of websites. I wouldn't say huge 10,000 page sites you might have an issue with. I mean, really, your modern laptop and Screaming Frog can crawl a 10,000 page website in what, 20 minutes? If you max out like my MSI laptop with an i5 in it.
Yeah. Did you see the article a couple of weeks ago that Google finally got their first quantum computer to work?
I remember seeing a title, but I didn't read it.
It got it to do a calculation that would take our computers today 10,000 hours or 10,000 days or something like that to do a calculation, and it did it in like 2 minutes. So they said that it's still like a decade away before they could use quantum computing for practical applications, but they apparently, had their first big success with that recently.
There's still a few physicists that think it'll all just break once you start trying to go beyond these really small scale calculations though as well. So it's still the jury's still out on how well it's going to work. It's kind of scary if it does work though. Like literally using the universe as a computer is kind of it's a little bit.
Sounds amazing to me. Maybe we'll finally find the meaning of life at Google.
Yeah, Google will self-destruct and discover the meaning of life and never tell us. Just leave us to fend for ourselves. You don't want to know. I'm out of here.
They'll sell the meaning of life as an info product. You just got to buy in for 3 easy payments of $49.99.
That would be funny if like homepage just becomes, we've discovered the meaning of life. No more searches. Give us $49.99.
Yeah.
I have no interest in searching anymore. Searching is not the meaning of life.
Let me ask you guys: at what size does a website have to start worrying about crawl budget? Like a 500-page website, a 2,000-page
That
website.
seems tiny. I think
Yeah.
Garrett's number's probably about right, 10,000 plus probably.
Yeah.
Anything smaller than that, you would think to Google is just tiny.
Because, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we could do an experiment on my desktop. You know, I have a really nice AMD Ryzen CPU. I bet I can dump streaming. I don't know, what's a site that's like 10,000 pages? I could probably dump it through Streaming Frog at max CPU, and it'd probably be done in like 2 minutes. Like, when I crawl my websites that are a few hundred pages, this thing is like 30 seconds. Like, not even 30 seconds.
Remember though, GoogleBot doesn't scrape the site in the super fast way Streaming Frog does. It deliberately does a full render. Well,
that's what's interesting about these quotes from this article here. There's a rendering queue now that's separate from crawling the site.
Wow, that's cool.
Because someone asked him, what affects how long a page stays in the rendering queue? And Martin said, nothing actionable for webmasters. Is there a significant delay between rendering and indexing phase? No. I don't know, maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but it seems that crawling and rendering might be two different things at this point.
Yeah, but you've still got to wait for both, haven't you? So, but then it says it doesn't matter for the queue time how slow your site is, so they'll just queue it up and do it in order anyway. So I guess if they're doing it that way, just crawling things and dumping it in a queue in whatever order they find it, regardless of speed, it really maybe you don't have a crawl budget at all anymore. Google just has a queue.
Because I mean,
more resources to keep the queue the same.
Like our skincare site is totally fucked up. It just doesn't work right. It's fucked. And even that site that takes like a minute to load, like a really simple page with maybe like 2 images and like 500 words of text on it, it's just fucked. I can dump that through the Search Console. You know, it's crawled, indexed, rendered, whatever, live in the search results within a second. So, you know, it's, you know, I don't think it's even taking the time to.
The quote here in the article. So Googlebot rendering is getting super insanely fast.
Because I mean,
yeah,
it only takes like the standard time for Google Search Console to, you just dump the link in, it says it's in a queue, but before that little box is even done loading, I've seen the site be live in the search results. So, you know, I don't know. I don't think crawl budget's a big thing for most people anymore, like it was maybe 5-6 years ago or before. I think they have so much computing power, you can rip through a site pretty quick. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Is there a way in Search Console to request an entire reindex of the entire site, or recrawl of the entire site at one shot, or you got to do it URL by URL?
You could stick a new sitemap in there.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, usually it'll crawl a new sitemap pretty completely.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now. Cool. So much to do and not enough time to do it.
Yep. Need to hire more employees.
Yeah. But I think that's it. Did we have a main topic for the week, or are we done?
No, that's about it. I don't know. I never have anything good to say about these updates anymore. Or not necessarily good, but nothing to really say about them. It's just some people get hit, some people don't, like some people go up.
There's one a year that's huge, isn't there? And then all these other ones are just.
It's like last summer, or not last summer. Last summer was the June update. That was a pretty big, solid one. And then the summer before that was Medic. And this BERT thing, I don't know. I see a lot of people trying to make themselves experts about BERT, but no one seems to have any solid contextual like reasoning behind it.
Yeah, every article that I read is just like a primer on machine learning.
It's like all this. It's like a huge 10,000 word article on how machine learning works, but absolutely no substance as to what that means for like search.
Yeah,
I'm sticking to my "it's broken" hypothesis. Yeah. I think Google is going to make a big readjustment to it because I think the search results have got slightly worse. So I think we'll see. I think they must have tested it on a big enough sample that they think it works. So I would assume they can make it better. So I would assume that we're going to see a bigger, more complete version of it that works a bit better at some point. I just don't think we've seen it yet. So I'm kind of watch this space for that. I think you'll notice it working when you can type weirder things into the search and it understands them. Not just
Well,
what you
what did they
also the
officially
page.
say? Was it 20% of search queries were going to be affected by whatever BERT is? See, you think about it, 20% of all search queries. That's a pretty big chunk that they've rolled it into. And I agree. I don't think it's working very well. I think search results have gotten worse. But
As long as Google makes their money, they don't care.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Didn't one of you boys share an article before saying like Bing had increased its market share in America for the first time in like 5 years or something?
Maybe. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, like, that's kind of crazy. Google's got to be careful though, because not because I think Bing's going to come for them and massively overtake them, but just because I think if people start getting used to thinking it's rubbish for certain things, it just gives opportunities for another Amazon. Because like everyone doesn't buy things on Google Shopping, like that's all dead now. Unless you want a review of something, you just go straight to Amazon, search for it, and buy it. That's like 40% of the shopping market now. It just lets new search engines appear in areas where they're too weak, and then just become the dominant player. So I think that's where they have to be careful. I think we'll see people that are very, very good specialists snipe away at Google and take segments like Amazon's done, and like Facebook's done for social search and people and getting recommendations off your friends. Google's dead in that space. Much as I hate Facebook, they've killed Google in that space, so fair play to them on that. There'll just be more and more examples if Google's not careful where they lose out in big areas that they should have been able to dominate in.
Yeah.
And it poses a long-term danger when those things become bigger than search. Like, it won't matter to marketers, if Facebook was the only game, we'd all just be on Facebook. Like,
right.
it doesn't make any difference to us what the source of traffic is. Google just happens to be one that we like at the minute, so we're working. That's where we're working. But there's already people who just do Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So it doesn't make any difference to us. But Google could find themselves in a position where the average user is using Google less and less and less and less and less. Especially if a bunch of AI-generated trash content starts making its way into the search results, where you read the article and you're like, well, why is this paragraph in here? So I mean, Google does have to be careful. I think they do have to care about not messing up the quality of the SERPs, because people aren't very sticky, as previous fallen tech giants have found out. Once you reach a trigger point where you're seen as not good anymore. I mean, Facebook would be in trouble if they hadn't bought Instagram.
Yeah. Instagram is huge.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting 1 or 2 years for the SEO world, I think.
I prefer boring, but I think it is unfortunately going to be interesting.
Yeah, I prefer boring too. But anyway. All right, guys. I think
All right. Yeah, I think that's a wrap for this week. We'll be back. Yeah, next week's not Thanksgiving, right? Nope. So we'll be back next week, and then, Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and whatever YouTube people do, and see you next week.